Can you please show your face, please? Yongyan, show your face, please. John, Kylie, Lisa, show your face, please. Okay, now I'm recording. Okay, thank you very much, Yongyan. And I will record all lectures, then upload to the site every time. Okay, very good. I almost forget. Okay, and let me share the screen. Yes, this midterm test will be in week 6. And if this is still in Zoom, we will do test in Zoom. And if we go back to classroom, we will do that in classroom. Okay, so 1 hour. This 1 hour will only test lessons 1 to 4, week 1 to 4. These contents will be tested. Then the final examination will not test these contents. Okay, and so this is quite good, and you learn something, then you harvest something. Okay, you are great, and you take that. Then we learn new things. Then we test the new things in the final stage of examination. And so that is the assessment. In the past years, this and the students think this architectural history is not very difficult. And sometimes there are 1 or 2 students fail. And I think if you can read the notes, and better you have textbook, you read books, and you can have some understanding. And you can also write out from your homework, from examination. I think there's no problem for that. Okay, students have any question about the arrangement? Yongyan, you have question?
No.
Yan?
No question.
Okay, good. And we hope students to have some textbook. These textbook will be useful, and no matter for Western architecture history and Chinese architecture history. There are English book, Chinese book, and any students have those books. You have borrowed from the books. Yan, you have borrowed from the books. Students have borrowed any textbook?
Yeah.
Who is speaking?
I think we are not yet borrowed the books.
Okay, you have borrowed the book?
No, we not yet.
Okay, please do so. I show you.
Can we buy the books on the bookstore?
Oh, yes, very good. You can buy my book, okay, in CityU's bookstore.
To drop some notes in the book, so maybe I will use the pen to highlight, so I want to buy the book.
Oh, yes, please.
Okay.
Please, and this book, and I show you some book. This book is, can you see the title?
Yeah.
This book, actually, this is like a brick. This book is newly published. It's Global Architecture History, and the 21 edition. This book was first published in 1896, more than 120 years ago. And now it is the 21st edition, and the people continuously rewrite that. This edition has 2 volumes. I borrowed the volume 1 in our library, and 2 volumes. And so this is one book. On this book also including China, Asia, Japan, all the world. So it's global architecture history. And but now you can see, I just, okay, Greek architecture, there are several chapters on that. There are several chapters on that. So this book, you must have, this book will be useful. And also for Chinese architecture, if you can buy this book, and, this book is written in our notes, and the editor is Pan Guxi. You can buy this book from Taobao, I think, and Taobao $20, and but in Hong Kong you need them to send to Hong Kong, and that takes money, and so you can buy this book. Then there are many other books in here. There are many other books. For example, some are about okay, you can see so this kind of book, mainly this is on the world architecture history, and those are on the world architecture history, and you can buy. And if you can, okay, these two books are my book, and this book you can download. I give you the link. You can download from City University internet, and it allows university students to download this book. And this book can be bought in Sanli and City Use bookshop, and so that is the basic situation of the book. I hope students can have book, and I show you one book. This book is my textbook, and almost 40 years ago. I bought this book in 1981. Who is sharing? Okay, I bought this book in 1981, almost 40 years ago, and this book let me understand. You can see what I just underscore that, and that book lead me to understand world architecture. But in the 1980s, in your parents, I think in your parents' years, and in China, it's difficult to travel to foreign countries, and I traveled to foreign countries, and mainly in the past 30 years. And travel to those areas, so you understand what happened in those areas. Okay, and now we go to our lecture. When I talk in lecture, you can turn off your face, but in our meeting and also in tutorial, please open that. Tutorial, we need to discuss. I need to see your drawing. Tutorial, you will draw something. I want to see your drawing. After you draw, you will show me in the camera. Okay, when I talk the PPT, you can turn off your face. Okay. Can you see the screen? Can you see PPT?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Okay, and this is the beginning of architecture history, and actually the early civilization took place in the river, Nile River, Mesopotamia. Nile River is today's Egypt, Nile Ho, okay, Mesopotamia, Indian River, and the Yellow River. So those were the early civilization take place. Then in this area, in this period, that is about more than 2,000 years ago, there are many gods. So many gods, 10. Okay. And many gods. So then after some 100 years, 500 years, so the world see some major religions, Christian, Islamic, and Buddhism. So those are the main religions. And this happened in about 500 years and AD. So that is about 1,500 years ago. Then mainly in this area, from Yellow River, Indian River, we see the Buddhism, and from here we see the Islamism, and from Nile River, Mesopotamia, grow Christian. Then this is mainly the ancient and religious period, Gradually in the 19th century, the civilization gradually merged to Western civilization and Eastern civilization. And in the 21st century, we see the trend of globalization. So it is gradually merged to one. So today, we wear the same clothes, the shirt. We do not wear the traditional Chinese clothes, and your hairstyle are similar. This is the trend of globalization. Okay. And this civilization mainly, as we say, and mainly happen in the river. So that is the Yellow River and the Indian River, Mesopotamia. And also this area seems to be Africa and Europe. And this is this is also the beginning of civilization. And this is the two bars. I made two bars. One is the development of Chinese architecture. Another yellow one is the Western architecture. And before 17th century, there is no exchange. Civilization just grow in a very enclosed world, because there's no convenient traffic. Although there's a Silk Road, but only some people can take the horse and camel travel to Xinjiang, from Xinjiang to the Middle East, then to Europe. Very few merchants can do that. The ordinary people never knows what happened in other parts of the world. And in Chunqiu, spring and autumn, that is before, before Christian. And so that is the early book on architecture. There is a book called Kao Gongzhi, and it records the town planning system in China. And also we see the Greek architecture before Christian and before AD. This is zero. Then China, and from Chunqiu, Qin Shi Huang, Han to Nanbei Chao, in this period, and Chinese architecture mainly see the development of masonry and brick architecture. And this period is the Roman period in Western architectural history. Roman period. From Nanbei Chao to Sui, that is 500 AD. And wood architecture gradually grow up, and Buddhism coming to China, and Chinese architecture gradually developed to the wood structure. In the Western architecture, this period is Byzantine, so we will all learn those architectural history period. Then to the Dark Age about 1,000 years. In the same time, Chinese architecture, the wood structure becomes very advanced, and the wood components are very big. As we go to Zilian Nunnery, we can see the Tang Dynasty building. The Dogong is very big, and but no decoration. All just with the materials. So that is very close to our ideas of expressing the material. So from Tang to Song, and in Song Dynasty, there is a book called Ying Zhao Fa Shi, and it concluded how to make wood architecture in Tang and Song. So that is the great book on wood architecture. Then from Yuan we see Beijing City. So Beijing City was established in about 900 years. In Western architecture history, after this period is Romanesque, then gradually to Gothic architecture. We see very tall church cathedrals, Gothic cathedrals, and and gradually moving to 15 and to 1600 years. And this is the time Ming Dynasty of China was established, Ming Dynasty. And from Ming to Qing, wood structure becomes smaller, components become smaller, and also with many decoration, and the painting, colorful painting. And Beijing is under continuous construction, and Beijing becomes more perfect as a capital city. Then, under European architecture, after 1600 becomes a Renaissance, Meng Ai Fo Hing, and so we see the very splendid architectural culture at that time. Renaissance, it slide into the Baroque architecture, then classicism, then the capitalism, gradually classicism and classical revival in the 19th century. That is the end of the ancient Western architecture history. So ancient Western architecture history, we only ancient Western architecture history is from 2005 years ago, and 500 years BC, then to the mid-19th century, stop. And Chinese architecture, also you can say Asian Chinese architecture also stopped at that time, because 1840 is important for Chinese history. That is the Opium War and the seat of Hong Kong. And so this is the beginning. China entered the modern period. So this is General Ba. I introduced the architecture history. I hope students can remember that. Then after our learning, you will clearly understand that. Why do people build? When people first build, people just want to, in a wild land, people just want to make a shelter. So people, humankind, or we say he or she, will not be exposed to raining. In the summer, we can also have a shadow. So that is the early people. And I think that this is from people's original and intention of building. They need, they want, they think, they do, okay? There was no middle person. Now, yes, this is still, I took the picture in, this may be in Guangdong and somewhere, and people still build their own house and in villages, and they find, sometimes they will build for 3 years. And this year they collect all the bricks then they buy some concrete. Then in the winter, they will have time to build a skeleton, then to make a roof. After making a roof, and you can already be exempted from raining. Then you gradually build wall, build door, window, right? And people build for themselves. They know what they need. They know they want to have a kitchen. They make a kitchen here. They want to have a bedroom. They will make a suitable bedroom. Not in today's city, and we buy from developer. Developers think for users, right? So that is after a middleman. You cannot get an ideal.
We went through hell getting the world on board with this program. We've come too far forward with it. I hope understand why we cannot.
Okay, this is why do we study architecture history? Why do we study architecture? And architecture history. First, it is a compulsory course for architecture students. And then you will ask students study surveying. Is there any history of surveying? Is there any history? Who is speaking?
We've been having issues down here accessing the Dutch ports. We have reason to believe that it may not be accidental.
Okay, this student, can you please turn off your microphone? And
possible. Even if you could access the Hong Kong satellite remotely, you're not going to get the logs you need. Now, we got to pull that information from the actual satellite up here. Okay,
Professor, I think you can mute him.
I need your authorization. That's really scary. But how about you just count on me to do my job and see if you can?
Okay, hold on. This is the first time I had to bail you out.
Okay. Okay, and you will say there's no history of civil engineering because those engineering courses basically do not need that. But architecture has an image, Now people still saying, okay, my home is a Roman column, okay, that is Roman square. Why people use Roman square, Roman column, and also Greek roof? And because people want to find inspirations from history. History has a meaning to people. History has a meaning to people, right? And so this is the main reason we want to study architecture history. And also, okay, today you are at CTU, you study architecture, and people say, you enter the College of Engineering. Actually, architecture, in the past 2 years, you know that, and it is very engineering. You draw drawing, you calculate the square foot. And then you also want to draw something, and you draw a beautiful building and with good volume. And then you build bamboo structure, right, in Nansha. You want that, and Dr. Talamini teach you to white that, to paint that to the white color. And so all of those, and we want to let us feel delightful. That relates to the aesthetics. So this is the reason we want to study the style, okay, and the language of design. And this is very famous pyramid of the people's need. And I think first people will build a building to cover for their, and for themselves. They can sleep there. There's no wind, no raining, and right. And gradually people want to have their belonging. Okay, I belong to this place. Okay, this is my home. Okay, I love it. It's my nestle. it's my nest. It's my nest. Then gradually you will have a higher goal. You will have a higher goal. So in this period, in this stage, people feel they will appreciate something. They will appreciate the outside world. So the following question is, what is a style? What is a style? And people build in China, people first build in stone, then people build in wood. I take this picture in Shanxi, and Shanxi, you can see that this is the brick wall. This is the brick wall and a very nice house, People cut the wicks of the tree, then to burn that as the fuel for cooking, And there's no other choice. You have to do that. You have to use that. There's no gas. And also you can see these people are quite beautifully in the winter and the leather, and you can see the a garment, and in the summer people trousers and the skirts. This and people wear differently. People wear and beautifully. So that is a result of choice in a relatively wealthy society, and people have choice. When you have choice, then you want to have this style, that style. So style only happens when people have a certain amount of materials. Then you can select. Then in the ancient time, people built all the red brick buildings. There's no choice. That areas in Roman, in that towns, there are only red brick. No choice. So you have to build in that way. The whole town built in that way. Today you travel to some Italian town, you say, oh, it's very unified, good, very good style, and people very harmony. Actually, people have no choice. They only have that red brick 500 years ago. So that is no choice. Today people have choice. Today you can wear this shit, you can wear that shit, up to you. And if you feel very happy, you can wear very beautifully. And if you feel very depressed, okay, I don't want to dress myself, okay? That is up to you. So style appeared in the 19th century, from the 19th century, because especially for architectural style, this term appeared in the 19th century. So people can build the iron truss. They can build a span of 20 to 30 meters wide, but outside they still want to make it on a very traditional elevation. This dome can be built by a steel dome, but they want the building still have the sections, the arch and the opening, and also the columns. That is people's choice. You can see other stations. This is in Japan, and this station in Tokyo was built in 1910, and Japanese architects should build like a Japanese style. But Japanese architects, they went to study in UK, Europe. They want to make it a Western style train station. So that is a choice. They choose to build in that way. So that is in Tokyo. We can see the other train stations. They all built according to their, it's big span, 20 to 30 meters for the platform. But they still select to build the pitch roof like their traditional house. Okay, and in Asian architecture history, all the buildings we can see today, if that building can last for 200, 300, 800 years, that building is not easy, not easy. You can see a lot of Gothic cathedral, they lasted for 800, 900 years. They are still there, they are still there. They were built by the king, by the religion, okay, and have money. The ruling class have money. So all of the historical buildings were built and owned by the wealthy and ruling class, royal family, as you can see, ruling class, kings, royal families, and religious organizations. So they occupy the majority of wealth and production materials. So their building represent the highest level, the highest standard of that era, of that period. So you look into the architecture history, The building types are several: temple, cathedral, palace, then no other building types. So those building types were occupied by, the religious organization and the kings, queens, and their family members, right? Where are ordinary people's house? You cannot find. The disparity is too big. Some people take all the wealth of the country, and the majority of people live in very poor condition. So all of their laboring people, ordinary people's house no longer exist after some years. How do we study architecture history? Architecture history, and the first is the terms. Terms are very important. And what's this part? What on that part? This is the wall, that is the ceiling, this is the floor, right? This is the ordinary things. Then for the Asian architecture history, there are too many terms, and we try to. Yongyan, you have a brother, and and the students, if you feel not convinced, you can come back to campus. Campus have plenty. You can go to CMC. CMC have place and that too. Okay, and so the terms are very difficult. The terms are very difficult to remember, and but we try to remember. Today we will remember some terms. We will draw that. So those are the, I paste. Can you see my computer mouse? This is students and the examination paper, answer paper. This student draw very fast. He draw a Gothic cathedral and the plan of the Gothic cathedral. What is this? This is the nave, and I cannot see that. Yes, ale, right, and the cross. He clearly knows what part, call this and that, and then he draw that on the examination papers. And this is students' computer model to do some famous building in history. And this students doing of Degong, of Chinese architecture, and every 3 to 4 students, they will have a group. And at that time, we do not have many tools. Students just use their own tools to cut the wood, and finally to make Degong in this way. They bought wood from some shops in Prince Edward. Then they bring that to school, and then they cut by themselves and do all the models. Sometimes we need to touch that. If we have opportunities to visit. In the past years, we organized 7 times to visit Shanxi and the wood architecture. Some students become experts. One student, Anthony now graduated from Chinese University, Master of Architecture. He was activist in traveling to Shanxi. He traveled to Shanxi for several times. He used a lot of computer softwares to draw the Dogong and the whole building. Our library still keep his work. And if we have chance, we hope to organize trip. One trip may be organized in this winter if we can leave Hong Kong and a Chinese government will not take us for 14 days quarantine. Okay, we hope to make such a trip in January, in early January, before semester B, and hope our students can participate actively. Okay. And one architectural history work, and we let students to do an installation. And this is the best group and the Satin District Council and built that in Satin. And so you can see the opening ceremony, a lot of children playing. This is CTU students' works, CTU students' work. And also history and geography is important. History, okay, time, long time. It's a river, long time from now going back to see the ancient times. Then geography, Europe, Asia, and Africa, different continents, different countries. So I think you study architecture, you are very happy. And when you have money, when you go to work, and you can travel to a lot of places. And my colleague often share his travel experiences with me, and he said, study in architecture is to fulfill your life, gradually fulfill your life. When you are older, you can travel to more places, and that will be very happy thing. That will be a very happy thing. And the culture and society and the different same. This is in Shanghai. This is in New York. And why people use the brick wall in this way? Why do people? This is the street. Why they use the street in that way? And that relate to culture and culture and different societies. Some architects. Some architects, they use historical symbol to build their new buildings. Okay, this is the Disneyland. Of course, Disneyland will use the castle or the symbol European architecture castle main streets, like in the Disneyland. And that is Japanese architect's design, and he used some symbols to say, okay, this is Italian square, whatever of that. That is postmodernism. Postmodernists, they like to use the historic symbol to decorate their building, keystone, and the composition in this way and that way. So that is apply the historical language. And you can see iron paste design. Iron paste design, this is in Suzhou Museum. And Suzhou Museum, and you can see he said this is the language of Jiangnan and southern Chinese style, and also like Chinese painting. This is iron paste design in Japan. He used this, he thinks this can represent Japanese culture and the steel structure with the line. And he also designed Islamic Arts Museum in the Middle East. Why he make the volume in this way? This is his belief. Of course, you need to travel thousands of ways to see. I think our body experience architecture. You are in a room now. You know how small is that room. My room has no windows, so I cannot see the nature. And we use our body to experience architecture. Okay, this is in Dunhuang. This is in Le Corbusier's Longchamp. And this is in Louvre Palace. In the past 25 years, I led students to travel to many places, Japan, okay, Europe. In recent years, CityU does not have money to do that. And students, I think I strongly suggest you yourself organize. Sometimes for FYP students, I let them to apply for funding outside. 5 students, they travel to Beijing, Shanghai, Zhejiang. They write their FYP. And I encourage them to do so. And they can meet people, visit people. This is Chinese philosophy is very true, very true. You read so many books, 10,000 books, then you walk 10,000 miles to see the building, These students graduate, they become architects. Many people in here, they become architects. These people become very mature architects and Sometimes we still communicate. Sometimes we have lunch together and sometimes we have lunch together. I think architecture can draw us together. And also we can together to experience the space. So that is my sharing of the first hour. Let's have 10 minutes break. Okay, 10 minutes break. Will you come back at 4 o'clock? Okay, we come back to class. Okay, can you see the PPT?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. And this is our lecture 1, Greek architecture. Okay, Greek architecture, that is the beginning of the classical architecture. And the classical foundation, and when people say classical architecture, they mainly means Greek or Roman architecture, these two. And before Greek is the Egyptian architecture. That is about 10 centuries BC, 10 centuries or earlier, so about 3,000 years ago. The Greek architecture mainly happened in 500 years BC and to 0 AD, so about 500 to 600 years, 500 to 600 years. And we first see where is it, the location. Okay, this is today's world map. Now this world map have different colors, means different countries. But in the ancient time, there's no boundary between countries. If you can travel, you travel. But some people will stay in some areas, then they will have their own language. That language is important. And Greek people speak Greek. Roman people speak Roman. Okay? And Russian people speak Russian. Chinese people speak Chinese. And that is very important. And your language and usually regulate your culture and define your culture and also your habits and society. And Greece is here, as you see, and we are here, okay, from Hong Kong, okay. This is Greece, and this is Atlantic. This sea is called Mediterranean, 北中海, okay, and Greece is a hot area. I think in the summer, it's very hot and dry, not so humid as Hong Kong, but hot and dry. Mediterranean and Aegean Sea, okay, are right here. And the Asian civilization of the old world, and Greek is here, in here. And this is the Africa and Asia, Australia. And there are some colors. Color means people live here, okay? And we can see the time is very early, okay, 2,000 years before AD, right, before Christian. And that is the that is earlier, okay, earlier in India, okay, in part of Africa. So this is close. The green one is close, 600 years BC. So that is the Greek. And also Yellow River is also very early. And we see some of the earlier building. That is in Egypt. You can see the time is very early. You plus another 2,000 years, you can see this is almost 5,000 years ago. 5,000 years ago, and that is the pyramid, Great Pyramid, Giza, pyramids, okay? So they all have this form and the base, then gradually reduced, then finally there is a climax. So that is the prototype of pyramid. So we can see our ancestors and know how to build, and they build form in this pyramid form. So that is a very early form. Okay, Greek pyramids. Greek pyramids in this shape, there's also sculpture. This sculpture may be later, but the stones, Egyptian itself does not produce stones. So these stones were transported from very far areas, then transported to this desert area, then built this pyramid. It may not be desert, it may be forest, 2,000, 5,000 years ago. Okay, after many years, because there's no water, very little water, and it becomes desert. But some architecture history will go dig earlier to pyramid period, to the Egyptian architecture. Now we go to Greece. And this Greece, this area, this is Mediterranean, this is Aegean Sea, and Greece is in this area, and it includes part of the peninsula, and also a lot of islands, This area is today's Turkey, but before Christian, this is not called Turkey. It has other names. It was once part of the Roman. But Greece represent the high civilization at that time. So people say this period, they only say Greece. The other areas do not have many great buildings. And we first see some words. Polis. Polis is, today we see metropolis. Metropolis, Daitusi, okay, metropolis, Daitusi. It's a metro, okay, metro, polis, Chanbang, okay. It put together, it becomes a word, metropolis. Metropolitan is an adjective. Metropolitan is an adjective. So this polis is the Greek city. In Chinese, you say a state, city of state. That means one city is a state, like Singapore is a city. It is also a state. In Greek time, there are many, many small states, many small. An island can be a state. And then the Persian is from here. Persian, sometimes they will across the sea to root the area. So many small states, they want to unite it, then they can resist Persian. So this is the whole area of Greece, Today we can see the sculptures. These sculptures are put in museum, and these sculptures were made by Greek people 2,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago. At that time, you can see these people already have very high IQ and very high skills, and you can see this person and so accurate to make, and the wrinkle of the clothes and the muscle of his arm, and so these people are already and master the skills of sculptures and in a great degree. And from these people's clothes, from their gesture, you know what they want. Greek people love sports. They love a lot of sports. Why Olympic? Olympic is the city of Greece, and so the spirit of Olympic are forward for 2,000 years. So Athens is the capital city of Greece, capital city of Greece. And every male can vote, so they call themselves a democratic state in that time. And there was religion, but the religion is polytheism, many gods. Many, Athena is a god, Hera is a god, Hermes is a god, okay? And Poseidon is a god, okay? They represent many gods. Some people worship, Athenian people worship Athena, okay? Apollo is the sun, right? Apollo is the sun. The Olympians is the origin of so many gods, and myth. So Olympians means people in that areas. Okay. So this is a painting. Athena and Poseidon, and they are fighting. Of course, Athena is a female, okay, is a woman, and Poseidon is a man, okay. Contest between these two places. So Athens is a city, and Poseidon is also another city in Greek. They fight. So today's Greek capital is Athens. So we can see the characteristics of Greece and the religion. It's many gods, polytheism. So in architecture, there are temples to accommodate different gods. And politics, they have democracy. Then there are civic architecture, public space, agora. Agora is a market and the open market. And today you travel to Athens, you can visit those agora. Agora was still there. Knowledge, they have art. You can see the sculpture, very beautiful sculpture. Logic, mathematics, philosophy. Some very famous mathematics and philosopher, their name, we still know their names. Plato's, right? Then this presented by sculpture and people's principle of proportion and the visual quality. As you can see the sculpture, very beautiful sculpture, and the person very like a true man, right? Greece. And the early building of Greece is made by wood, and these buildings are not there, and the people can find some relics, then to imagine what it looked like. For example, this is a wood building. Wood building, you can cut the tree to make the column. Then you want to make these beams. And then these beams, 2 meters. 2 meters. It's not very 2 meters. It's not very wide. Long. And if you want to have a longer tree, it will be difficult. But 2 meters trees you can find. To cut that. Then people will make a roof, a pitched roof in this way, And you make a roof in this way, then the rainwater can easily go out, can easily run out. So that is the early Greek temple, but it was made by wood. Later, it was replaced by stone, and most buildings were built by stone in Greece. And we can see the plan. This plan, there are many columns surrounding the building plan. So that is called peripteral columns. Peripteral columns, many columns. And how wide is here? I guess this is about 2 meters or 1.5 meters. We don't know, but we can see the distance are the same. All the distance are the same. Then in the center is the temple. Temple called sanctuary. In this sanctuary, there will be a sculpture. This sculpture is a god. It can be Athena. It can be Apollo. If it is Apollo, you call this Temple of Apollo, Temple of Athena, Temple of Poseidon, etc. And in this temple, there are rear room, front porch. Front porch is for you people to enter. Then people enter, they will see this god from this hole, Then they will leave. They will walk along this corridor. Okay. So the Greek temple are all rectangular shape. This rectangular shape, you can see that will be, if this width is 1, so it can be 1 to 3 or 1 to 2.5. So that is the proportion of the Greek temple. Okay, and this is Temple of Hera. Hera is a god name, in Olympia. Olympia is, now it is a city, but that time it is the name of a place. Here we can see it's 6 column. Yes, 6 column. 6 column, you will have 5 bays here, 5 bays here. In this direction, that is 13 columns. 13 columns. Their distance is the same. So the columns this is Temple of Hera, another temple. And we can see there are 2 layers of columns. 2 layers of columns surrounding this temple. And inside the temple, sanctuary, there's still column. Why the column are so dense? Because the stone materials, if you want to make a beam, the beam, you cut the stone, it could not be very long. It can only be 1.5 meter. 2 meter will be very long stone. How can you find that so big stone, right? So that limit the span of the column. Many columns. The columns can put the beam. The column can put beam. Then above the beams, you can have a roof. So those temples, today the columns are still there, but there's no roof. As we can see, this is the Greece. This is Italy. Today's Turkey. Those are the names of those years. Aegean Sea, right? Olympia, and the different names are all here in Greece. Egypt is here. So Egypt is here, and across the sea it is Greece. So Egyptian architecture has many influences on Greek architecture. Then Greek architecture also influenced Roman architecture later. And this is today you can see the foundation. This is in the place called Delphi. It's in Greece. This is the amphitheater. Amphitheater was also invented by Greek people, and it is open. You sit here. The people in front of you will not block you. So this is called amphitheater. Temple of Apollo. This is Temple of Apollo. So the Apollo should be accommodated here accommodating here. And now we can see the plan. Now we can see the plan. From this person's scale, you can imagine how big is this temple. How big is this temple? This is in the mountain area, and this is my picture. I walk from the middle of the mountain in a town. Delphi town is in the middle of the mountain. You climb to here. It's about 100 meters, perhaps longer than 100 meters height. And then you climb to here, climb here. So that is the temple of Apollo, temple of Apollo. This is another temple, another temple. So today we can see some of the columns, some of the columns. And this column, because this column was made by 3 stones, And also this is the stone beams. These stone beams decide how long stone you can cut. Then you put here and you form this opening, That is in Delphi. And also we see the amphitheater, and that is the stage. And that is the backstage. This is the stage. So the actors and actresses will perform here. And how many people can sit here? I see 1,000 to 2,000 people can sit here. Perhaps 1,000 people. Very dense, very dense. And people, I think it's very scientific. Today you see this is a fan, right? Beautiful, and also there's an ale, and you can walk, and you can walk from here. Then you sit here to see the performance. So that is a very advanced and invention. So it was a classroom for citizens. So people, through viewing those performances, people learn what is the good, what is the bad. And also Greek is very famous for its myth. Those myths, people write script into drama. Greek drama is usually tragedy. And people will watch those dramas. Greek tragedies. Organizers pay the cost, so it's free. Everybody can go to see. The organizers will pay the fee to the performers. And that is also in Delphi. This is Apollo, okay, sanctuary of Athena. So we can see this is a circular shape. And also here we can see many very dense stone. What's that? So the Greek architecture, the internal space is very small, because people cannot make a big span. In Roman architecture, it is different because Roman people invented that arch. If you have an arch, you can have a bigger space. That is the Delphi and mountain area, and this is a hotel I live and beautiful, and mountain area. So in these with mountain, with some water, people will associate these areas with the gods, and the people will think, and Superman will be produced in this kind of areas. And we see these isometric drawings, and these are all the colonnade. You can see all the columns. Then interior, there are also many columns. How can you put your sculpture? How can you perhaps put here? But the sculpture is also limited because of so dense columns. And this is the elevation. From this elevation, we can see that, and the distance between columns are the same. are the same. Seven columns. Okay, 7 columns here. If you have 7 columns, so that will have a 6 base, then the temperature, then a roof. This roof form was originally wood form, but now it can still be made by wood, but covered by slate, stone slate. So that is the roof. That roof may be the structure is the wood. Structure is the wood, then covered by stone slate. And few people, king ceremony. The exterior is for people's gathering. People will gather outside. People will gather outside. Temple was governed by presbyters. Those are the people who organize, who manage the temple, own huge amount of wealth, slaves and business. They are very rich, so they can build so big temple. So publics are usually outside, using the outside space, external space. These columns are over 10 meters, so the buildings are very high, because people will say, this temple is the house of the god and goddess, and we make it high. We make it high, so ordinary people will feel awesome. Will have a feeling of awesome, and that is the function of religious building. And build, it's different with your house. It is a huge size, and let you feel that you feel very respect this God. Altar has no roof. Altar is for ceremony, but they are enclosed by colonnade, and so you can have your ceremony in this center of the altar, and there are amphitheater here. Amphitheater is like classroom, and people receive education in amphitheater. And this is part of Greek temple. We need to remember some terms. For example, this is a column. This is a column, and this part is like a triangle. This triangle is called pediment. Can you please turn on your microphone? You read with me. I hope you can all know terms, okay? Okay? Pediment. Pediment means this. In examination, I will draw the following terms. Then I write pediment, you draw this, okay? You draw the whole temple, then you show here is pediment, okay? Pediment is still useful. Today, you go to Hong Kong's Central, you see our Supreme Court, right? Supreme Court, and that is a Greek temple. You show that, you point that, you say that is a pediment. People say, ah, clever boy. And you know that, and right? Pediment. And cornice. Follow me. Cornice. Yeah. Today, even you build a flat roof building, people will say, how high is your cornice? Especially in design firm, people will ask that. How high is your cornice? And where is your cornice? So people still use that. Okay, cornice. Architrave. Please follow me.
Architrave.
This word, I have no confidence. You need to check your dictionary in your computer. My pronunciation may not be correct. Okay? And the whole part, this whole part is called entablature. Entablature is above the column, below the roof. You directly put the roof on the column. That is, this building is too low class. You need to have entablature. This is true in Chinese architecture, Western architecture. You all need to have an entablature. Please follow me. Entablature. For this column, there are three parts. This part, the head part, is called capital. Shaft. Base. I think for this drawing, the others are not often used. Perhaps this acroterion, you remember that. Acroterion is the decoration of the end at the corner. And this decoration, I think in Chinese architecture, people also elaborate this corner because corner is very difficult to make. So in Western architecture, there is also this acroterion. Yes, very good. You need to remember those. Okay, you need to remember those. You should draw that, or we will draw this in our tutorial. Okay. So that is in the museum in Greece, and this pediment has many. The height from here to here is over 2 meters. So you can put a sculpture inside that. So there are people, animals, and man, woman. These are all the gods. So now in museum, people put all of those sculptures. Of course, these sculptures are already broken. Part of the ancient sculptures put inside that. But we know that this part is this part. This, you can see a person is this height. This temple is more than 10 meters. So this is over 2 meters, very tall. And so that is one temple and the pediment in this part. And the column, and this is 3 classical orders. Orders here means the column style. And today people call this Greek Doric, Ionic, Corinthian, and people call these 3 columns. But Greek people, they do not use this as style. This style was called after 1,500 years in Renaissance, in 1500 years, and the people started to research on Greek architecture. They say this is the Doric column, this is the Ionic column, this is the Corinthian column. Doric, Ionic, Corinthian were all name of places. Today you travel to there are some small towns, but originally they really support this kind of columns. And so Doric columns is very strong. So it is like a man. There's no base, and the Doric column usually directly hit to the ground. Ionic column and is slender. If you use this diameter, this may be 1 to 6, 1 to 6. This can be 1 to 9. This can be 1 to 9. So very slender, very slender. This is not straight line. It is a curve, very beautiful curve. And Doric, there's no curve. Straight line, go down, hit to the ground. Doric columns appeared earlier in about 500, 600 years and before BC. Ionic is later, about 200 years BC. It has scroll of the capital, like a scroll, like flowers, Corinthian is later, so it has more decorations, like it calls honeysuckle, okay, and it's more decorations later. They all put under the entablature, Later we will draw this in our tutorial, okay? Okay, in this drawing we see some base, but usually directly. Okay, please mute that, and scroll. And we in this drawing we mainly see the capital part. And the Corinthian is very complicated and many decorations. And also from this and the decorations, this part is called triglyph. Please follow me. Triglyph. Metopy is this metopy.
Not metopy.
And I don't know if my pronunciation is correct or not. I don't know, and you had better to check your dictionary in computer. And this cornice, this part is called frieze. These parts, today we see it is made by stone, but in the ancient time, there are many colors. Today you visit Greece, you go to museum, you find those has some faded color still on that, And that means, and Asian people really use color, use pigment to paint that. But it is different with our concept. We think Greek people use stone, the stone directly put together. It's no color, very plain. And this is Doric column, and this map shows the location. Where is that? And also you can see this animal. Okay, this may be a leopard, and it opens the mouth. This is for the rainwater outlet of the rainwater. So you can see the Greek people, and 2,000 years ago, they were already very clever to make these small components. And this entasis means, and this column is not a straight line. It has some curve. And very beautiful. And yes, and order in Chinese. Order in Chinese is the 注释, and it is the order, classical order. That means classical order means the column style. And in this drawing, we see Doric has a base. This is in the later stage. Doric column also become slender. That is in the later stage with a very beautiful base here. And that is the capital of Doric, capital of the Doric, and it is very simple. Just one plate and to hit on that, and that is the example of Doric column, Doric columns. And people say Doric columns, and Doric columns, if you use the diameter, it is 1 to 6, and some maybe 1 to 5, and you can try. Doric later 1 to 6 to 1 to 7, so if you draw that, we hope that you can show its scale and a beautiful scale. Doric is like a man, and if you use this diameter, it may be 1 to 5. That is the example where you put your Doric order. Ionic original is like a woman. Sometimes people directly put a woman and to support the roof, and so it is slender. And people say 1 to 9. I try by myself. I don't think it is 1 to 9. Maybe 1 to 7, 1 to 8. It's already very slender. If 1 to 9, that will be a very long, very thin, and columns. But the book writes it's 1 to 9, 1 to 10 height. So it has scroll figure, and this scroll figure is made by Mason. Mason used the chisel and the hammer to make that beautiful and like a sculpture. Very beautiful. And that is the Ionic columns. Ionic column should be more beautiful than this one. It has the antithesis. And the Corinthian order. Corinthian order is in later because the changing of the capital is more beautiful. Corinth, near Athens. The column was analog to human body. But Corinthian has many leaves and flowers, even flowers, decorations. We can see here, very beautiful. Okay, so people say if we made by stone, this is by the whole piece of stone. If the stone broken, then your flowers are gone. So it's very delicate. Sometimes when I see those capital and I see it's very delicate, it's made by stone. The stone, then you use the hammer. If you use too strong, if you hit too strong, this piece of the leaf may be gone. Okay, and so that is the Corinthian order. Doric, okay, we see real example of Doric, and it is very old times, and very powerful, very strong. And also you can see the line. The line is not drawn on that. It is chiseled, and the line, a piece of the line, and then show that line. That was made, can you see the line here? That means one piece of stone, many stones put together, but when they stack together, the line can be the same line. Doric column conflict. So that means I put a track leaf here, then this track leaf will be at the end. So this part will be bigger. Doric column. Okay, that is all discuss how to make this track lift and at the end, move to the center. This is simple, right? Move to the center, all align with the column, align with the column. And so those are the components. And the Temple of Hera, and that is, today you can still see the columns and part of the roof and temperature. And this is typical Doric columns. And the Temple of Hera and the Doric column is very strong. And if you use that, it may be 1 to 5. Okay, the scale is 1 to 5 of the column, the height. And so that part, you just support all the temperature. The roof should be here. And this is a Corinthian column. This column collapsed. So we can see so many stones. And every stone is about 1 meter high, and the diameter is about 800 to 1 meter. So it's very heavy, very big, and then it's not easy to build that. At that time, people have simple, you can call machine, okay, mechanism, simple machinery to lift those very heavy stones to a location, then put it. Then between stone and stone, there are a small steel bar that can link the 2 pieces of stone together. I see that hole. The hole is in the center of the stone, so it can keep the columns go up and it is stand straight. It's an engineering job, not easy. Temple of Hera. But the span, this span may be 1.5 meters. So as I said, this depends on how big piece of, if you want to make an opening, how big piece of this stone. And also inside there are columns. Otherwise, how can you support the roof, right? So Greek architecture, the internal space are very small and also interrupted by so many stones. And the interior of the temple. Urban space in Athens. That is a leader in Athens, Pericles. That is real person. There are such a person. And we mainly see Acropolis. Acropolis is in Chinese is Yadian Weicheng, and today it is still there. It is in the center of Athens and on the mountain. This mountain is less than 100 meters, not very high. You walk and you can walk to the mountain hill side. And this Acropolis was made through 1,000 years. 1,000 years. There are amphitheaters, 2 amphitheaters. Then the Temple of Athena, and this is Acropolis. Why build the mountain on the city on the mountain top? Because this is mainly for defense. The enemy often invade, so you want to defend this place. So a lot of cities was built on the mountain top. So this is a model of 800 years. Actually, from 800 years, going back to 500 years BC, that is 1,300 years. It undergoes the construction for a long time. So that is Acropolis, Temple of Athena. These are the amphitheaters. This is from the city of Athens. And this city pay high attention on heritage preservation. There is no high-rise building in the city center. High-rise building is outside. And if your hotel or your room is in 8-story high, 8th level, 10th level, you can see the Acropolis. So this is, I shot the pictures from my hotel, and I go to the 10 stories, I can take pictures of the Acropolis, and so very good. And it is the highest point in the city center of Athens. And today people still see it is a center for thousands of years. And that is the painting. That is the painting of Acropolis. You can see so many of the mountains and the people and the temple. That is the entrance elevations of Acropolis. And that is the plan of Acropolis and the 2 amphitheaters. This amphitheater is still there, and this be broken. And now in the summer there are performance. People say performing here, the acoustic effect is very good. Without microphone, people can hear clearly, and people sing, people say, speak, people can hear clearly. So that is the ancient science. That is the prop pillar. That is actually the entrance. This is the main temple, Parthenon. This is another temple erection. This is already broken, and so this is gone. No such a temple here. This is today we can see the Parthenon. That is the amphitheater. This part is the wall, or this is the performing places. And the Parthenon. Columns. Peripteral columns. Entrance, Temple of Athens, Nike. This is a small temple. Erection, old temple of Athena Claudius. Okay, here, erection. Statue of Athena is here. But this statue is no longer there. It is gone. Okay, this proper layer, that is the entrance. Entrance, it's not easy to go. And when people have ceremony, they will walk on. They will walk and singing, then walk to the entrance. And here we can see this opening is bigger than these openings. Athena's sculpture, that is the temple of. This is the temple of Parthenon. So this is the entrance, appropriate layer, Weichenshana, gate of Acropolis. Okay, and we need to read this word. This is important. Please follow me and turn off your microphone. Acropolis.
Acropolis.
Okay. 高拿hin.
Yes.
Can you please read? 高拿hin.
Acropolis.
Yes, very good. And that is the entrance. That is the entrance. So the entrance, the gate is not very big, and it is also from the mountain and flanked on two sides. So enter that part of the entrance, and there is a small temple here. So that is the entrance. You walk many steps into that. So there's a temple of Nike. You can see the scale. This is the big columns make the structure. Some seems to be the square, some to be the circular one. You can have a close look of the columns, and it is Doric column, and also it has the line. The line was made by people's hand. by people's hand. So this needs many, many masons. This is temple of Athena Nike, and the Nike live here, and so columns. This is a typical Greek temple form, with some wall, with columns in this part. So that is the temple of Nike. So what column is this? Yongyan, what column is this? What order? What order of this? How do you call this column?
Ionic.
Yes, clever. Ionic, yes, good. Then this is from the entrance. Oh, people analyze how when you enter to the Acropolis, you can see this, see that, see to verify. Then this part, you can see the Parthenon. Okay, please follow me. Parthenon.
Parthenon.
Yes. Yes. Chen Yalang.
Here.
Yes, please read.
Parthenon.
Yes, good. John, Lisa.
Parthenon.
Yes, good. And this is the Parthenon, temple of Parthenon. We can see the columns. We can see the columns. And the columns, this is 68 meters. This is 153 meters. So if you have this dimension, you know this is not a small building, And the people also calculate, okay, this is 2.2 meters, okay? 3 pi. And so people use the proportion to appreciate the Greek temple. And I think Greek people love mathematics, so people also use that method to investigate Greek temple. So I count, this is 8 columns here, 8 by 17 columns, 31 meter. Oh, this is 31 meters, yes, 31 meters. This is 69 meters, sorry. That is the ancient dimension, 31 meters. 8 columns here, 17 columns here. Their distance are the same. Plan of Parthenon. And that is the perspective drawing people draw, and what it looked like in the ancient time. What's the column of here? Yang Jiawen, what's the column of this? How do you call this column?
Doric.
Doric. Very good. Doric. Doric column. Very powerful to stand here. There's how people perform. Okay, we can see the elevation, front elevation of the columns. And also people draw, why people draw this? Because, and that is to make, okay, first I'm concerning the loading. Okay, loading is here. So that is the width of between the columns. How wide is the columns? So in Greek, when I visit that, I try to measure all of those. And also, how high is these steps? So this span is 2.5 to 3 meters. So that means this stone should be 2.5 to 3 meters. Column height, 8 to 10 meters. Diameters of the columns, so 800 to 1 meter. So in this width. So this is my measurement. And I'm concerning of how big is these steps. These steps relate to the proportion of the columns. And such a big columns, you directly hit to the ground and it will not show its greatness. You make it on the podium, that will be good. So that is the site. The site, there are a lot of columns, of a lot of stones. Of course, many stones are missing. People find those stones and they belong to this temple. They also give it a number. So sometimes it can be restored, part of the columns. So this is under construction. And let's have a close look of this entablature part. And there are triglyphs here, and this is aligned with this column, and in ancient time there should be many paintings. This is I learned from the library or from the museum, but outside after 2,300 years and the rain, sunshine, there's no color at all, unless so. It's not easy to stand for 2,000 years, right? So there are many on construction want to restore that. And interior, people see Athena. Athena is placed inside the internal sanctuary of the Parthenon. And the Greek temple will make the side column a little bit outside. So when you see from distance, it is straightforward. Otherwise, when you see, it is always the perspective effect. It will merge, right? This is for the perspective, optical correction, and to make the temple was built in this way, and you feel it is, and very monumental. It is built in this way. Of course, this drawing is a little bit exaggerated. The extension line, they can meet 3,000 meters above, and it will finally meet to one point. This is the perspective to make it. So this is the pediment, the decoration impediment. The person is larger than one real person. These are put inside the museum. I think this is the later people will make those sculptures. This is in the pediment of the Parthenon temple. This is another temple called Erechtheion. Erechtheion is on the side, so it's symmetrical. A symmetrical posture contrasts with Parthenon. So you can see this door Ionic columns. This is also Ionic. Directly use a woman's sculpture here. This is Ionic, right? Ionic columns. And this directly use people's figure. Caryatid columns. Caryatid columns use a woman's. Okay, I think you need to make the columns the same, and that is not easy. Okay, you make 10 columns, you make 10 sculptures the same image, and to put here, it's not easy job. So that is the today's Erechtheion temple, and you can see some parts are still there. Some parts are still there. And these are the wall. This is a very typical Greek temple. There are wall and columns, and also some porch. This is the backside. This is the backside of this part, and it is elevated. The temple is very high, 10 meters. So that is Erection temple, and this is Parthenon. This is a small temple, but it is also tall, about 10 meters high. The amphitheater. This is the amphitheater. An amphitheater, we can have a close look. This is for VIP, and with most amphitheater, there's no back. But this first row, and there is a back for VIP and a chair. Agora. This is Acropolis. Agora is here. Today, you can still visit here, but now there are only some columns. Agora, and that means people can buy things and in the morning together, and a lot of people come to here. There is also a library. Model of those are the Stoa. That is a very long temple, Greek house. Temple of Hadrian. This is in Roman period. And what is the column of this? Zhenwenji.
I don't know how to.
You don't know how to. Who knows that? 垂落儀.
Corinthian column.
Yeah. Yes, clever. Corinthian, yes, that is in Roman time. Corinthian is very popular at that time. And Temple of Hadrian. Acropolis and its nearby environment. I took the picture in the Acropolis. It is in a high mountain, and I take the pictures, the nearby. Agora today, there are only some columns. It's not easy to keep the buildings. This is Acropolis. It's just below, right? And the Hadrian Library. Hadrian is a king. He has a library there. Entrance of Roman Agora. Those are the stone long house of the Greek house, but now restored. Stone, a covered walkway for public use. You can see. Of course, this is restored, rebuilt. This may be the last one. Yes, this is the last one. Students, please read those. And words, and also read students read these words, and please also read the notes I give you. There is a word file. The word file repeats some of the slides. You have these slides, and you have all of these slides, and that will be useful. Now we directly go to tutorial. Please, and all show your face. And also take a piece of paper. And pen or pencil. We draw two drawings. Please find in your own computer. Please find in your own computer. And one is 26. One is 26. Slide number 26. 26. Draw this. Draw this sketch and also mark what is this, what is that. As you see students' example, and you draw this. 26. No, this is not a good one. And also this one. This is slide 28. 26, 28. Draw Doric, Ionic, Corinthian. You need to draw that in a good proportion. Draw that in a good proportion. Okay, and you draw that, and I stop share. I stop share. You draw from your own computer, okay? Your own notes. And you draw. I see your draw. After you draw, you put on the camera. Let me have a look, and we can exchange. Now it's 5:12 and 5:12, and then in 5:40 we can communicate. (26) and 28.
其實我問你就應該呢個嘢，因為我已經冇睇。
咁你而家你我唔想知而家你因為其實我咧覺得
係啊，我都會睇長。
我覺得唔會，
我都會 share Emery story
3分鐘嘅，即係睇佢係
咩背景
嘅人。我都覺得但係其實嗰啲係真心，你睇啲人。
哇！咁樣俾錢我咁樣自己出去食飯，佢500蚊喎。My battery capacity is like 6.3. Burning in again 4.8 now. 你係知我同你一齊，因為我媽唔會咁樣做啊，我俾錢我去食飯，我媽唔會咁做，俾錢我去食飯，今年對我特別好啊。Okay, I think I have to replace my battery.
I'm sorry. Okay. 佢要交貨啊嘛。
No. Scan 啊。
或者 show cam。
咁樣錯啊？
佢隨機抽人。
好多人用呢個 background 嘅。
That's the most common background.
最靚嘅 background。 咁咪大呢條線入嚟嘅，差啲。
大家堂靜話。 會點睇過來嘅？
應該唔係。
Kasama mi. 點啊？未送貨，幫我聽。
喂，係，好好冇問題，唔該晒，拜拜。10點半前放貨，遲少少。
同埋佢第日點樣圍喺度？我師傅幾時過嚟啊？我今日打電話俾你嘅。唔係有啲燈咧，即係突然間今日又夾翻晒喎，因為即係
7月15過咗啦。
老師間房個燈都成。
係啊係啊，我啱好。
夠唔夠嘅？幾眼？
你今日幾多個 PP 啊？
講咗4個，一個。
哇，勁啊 Joey！
人哋一個禮拜4個啊，你1日4個。我都係，我禮拜6日先有時間。
Henry 就係你啦。
你想講？
嚇？
你想 join？
唔係 ，I'm just excited to see her。佢今日 read 咗我。
又唔見你平時見我
就
咁
係因為
細
快啲做 Skills ABD。Wendy 啊 ，Wendy 知唔知邊個 ？Wendy
簡平咯。
係啊。
佢捉你快啲做激情。
係啊。
哇！
哇！佢連咩叫 Skills ABD 都識。
係咯。嗰日拉佢不停喺度講，誒見到鄭寶欣啊。
係啊。係啊。嗌外賣啊！俾震啦，大佬！喺度我。
叫佢哋開 cam 我傻咗條。
全世界都開住啊！
You'll see me talking my Cantonese accent. So I didn't have time to finish my drawing, so I just sketched the last drawing. So this is my drawing.
John, your drawing? You finish your drawing? Do you finish your drawing?
I almost finished.
Yes, yes, yes. And after you finish, put on your camera to show us, okay?
Okay, no problem.
Oh, Li Zhongcheng. Oh, very good. Okay, give a big hand, okay? Thank you very much, Li Zhongcheng. Li Zhongcheng. Very good, very good. Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. I show you a student. I show you. This is one student's examination paper. I show you. And this is the plan. Can you see the roof? The dome.
Wow.
This,
wow.
And yes, yes, this is past paper. Past paper. Yes, John, can you please show your drawing?
Oh, John.
Okay, so I just draw a bit of the
Close,
yeah.
close.
So yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it
the
properly.
roof. Yes, I see the roof.
Yeah, and now I'm trying to draw the different columns, the
Oh,
Doric
okay.
and the, yeah.
Okay, three column. Thank you. Okay, and the other student, please give some encourage. Okay, John. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yongyan, have you finished?
你要熄咗個 virtual background。
係啊，睇唔到呢個 drawing，因為你個 virtual background。
因為你黐住自己，跟住紅埋佢。
係
啊。OK，都睇唔清楚。
Very good 啊，玉欣。
Oh, column. I see.
Yeah, very good.
Some column. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. Who is speaking very good? Which student? Which student is speaking very good? Oh,
me.
Wang Heilang. Okay, Wang Heilang. Oh, finish 3 columns. 3 columns. Yes, Doric. Ironic. You can draw a bit slender. That will be better. You draw pen or pencil? Pencil or pen? Pencil.
Pen.
Pen. Okay. Very good. The other students, please give a big hand, okay, to Heilang. Thank you. Who can share?
So I want to ask, this will be our exam format. So we keep drawing.
Keep drawing. Yes, every class we will draw important components. Yes. But if our examination will be done online, that is a bit difficult. You need to draw, then you need to upload. That is very time consuming. And if you are in class, we will definitely draw.
Okay, thank you.
And who can show the drawing? Lam Suang Ying. Lam Suang Ying. Have you finished?
I just finished that one.
Oh, yes, this part. Okay, good. Okay, when you shoot to the camera, okay, stay for 5 seconds at least, okay? Stay for 5 seconds. Hoing Ah Q. Have you finished? Oh, very good. It's pencil drawing, right? Pencil.
Can you see?
Yes, pencil drawing, right?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Here is my column.
Oh, yes, you have very high skills of drawing. Yes, very nice. Can you please scan and email to me, okay? If you draw, can you please scan and email to me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
We can shoot to the next class of students, okay? Chen Haochun, are you drawing? I see. Good.
I just finished.
Yes, first drawing.
Yeah, first drawing.
It's a pencil drawing, right?
No, it's a pen.
Oh, it's a pen. Yes, good. Very good. Any other student? So your chin. Yes, I see it. Yes, very good. Move. Column. Oh, 3 columns. Very good. Any other students want to share? Okay, and keep drawing and remember the scale. And Doric, you need to draw that very strong, and Aaronic draw that slender, and know some terms. And for the plan of Acropolis, better to draw that plan and know where is the Parthenon, where's the erection, where is the gate, and know the master plan of Acropolis. Okay, and thank you very much. Let's meet tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, okay? Okay, see you.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow morning.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.